It is my great honor today to introduce Susan Whitmore.
Well, I think I've met just about everybody in here at this point, but I'm Susan Whitmore, in case you don't know. And I generally refer to myself as Erica's mom. Before I tell you a little bit about who we are, I would like to acknowledge some of the people who have been instrumental in making griefHaven what it is today, and what it has yet to become, right? Yeah. So first, I'd like you to meet our people who are here today. Many of them are missing, but they're here on our board of directors and our board of advisors. And I'd like you all to stand, please, if you would. Rabbi Reuben. We've got Wendell Whitmore, my handsome and wonderful husband and Erica's dad. And of course, what would life be without our amazing Rabbi Stephen Carr Reuben? My dear friend, and Dee Dee, my other dear friend who's missing. My mother, Penny Fellows. Kate Henderson and Shelley Goodman, side by side. Ann Roberts. And a beautiful friend of mine, Jennifer Wolf. Also, last spring, when griefHaven had grown to where the need for our services far outweighed the office support available and the funding that I was so desperately working hard to raise, I made a difficult decision that something had to give, that I could no longer wear so many hats and work the hours I was working. I felt really sad and maybe even a little like I had failed in some way. So I put the situation into this night of prayer that I do. It's a special prayer where I tell Erica I love her before I go to sleep every night. A few weeks later, Pam Solomon called to say that a new group was forming. They were calling themselves Friends of griefHaven. And what friends they have turned out to be. I have a renewed hope that the needs of many who are suffering will be met, for now the help so needed will be there through all that they're doing. My most heartfelt thanks to, and would you please all stand, Friends of griefHaven? Please stand. They didn't know I was going to do this. They're so humble. Pam Solomon, Linda Rosen, Beth Abrams, Robin Aronson, Linda Rowdy, Melanie Pfeiffer, Jessica Michelle, Christina Porter, and Nicole Cruz. They planned and organized this fundraising event while freely giving the desperately needed office support that I needed. And one last group I'd like to introduce you to. I'd like to introduce you to the parents in this room. The parents I love, the parents I've taken this journey with so far, the parents who have been helped by griefHaven. And if you would all please stand and be loved and acknowledged by this room, I really appreciate it. They are amazing people. In 2002, my husband Wendell and I lost our beautiful daughter, Erica. She was 32 years old when she died from an extremely rare sinus cancer. When I say extremely rare, less than 200 people had ever had it. Erica, our only child, was also my best friend. For over a year, she fought hard, and we fought hard. Erica died at home, surrounded by those she dearly loved. So you could say that I am here today because of Erica, because she lived and loved, because we loved, and because she died. Her dying touched my life so profoundly that I had to do something about it. I thought the day Erica died was the worst day of my life, but I quickly learned it really wasn't the worst day. The worst day was that first morning when I awoke and realized Erica was gone and that I would never ever see her again. My days and nights were filled with an indescribable pain. In fact, Mark Twain, masterful and adept at finding the right word for any occasion, was left utterly speechless when he attempted to express how he felt after the death of his daughter. He wrote, "To do so would bankrupt the vocabulary of all the languages." In the depths of my pain and despair from losing Erica, it suddenly occurred to me that thousands of others at that exact moment were experiencing the same depths of pain as me. And I wanted to create a source of comfort and respite for them that was so sorely lacking. I started looking around for something to help me, and I was just shocked that there was just nothing out there to speak of. How can that be, I thought. Shortly after, I had a profound experience as I was falling asleep one night. You could call it that unknowing sort of dropped into me all at once. And that is when I knew that an organization like griefHaven would be born, and that I, along with those I could convince to come along with me, would help it grow to where it would help many people worldwide. People often react intensely when they hear about the death of a child or siblings. At times, bringing up the idea of even having an event like this, someone would say, "I don't want to go to that. It's too sad. I can't even think about that." They are right. It is too sad. And that is exactly why those of us who are on this path to rebuild our lives without our children and our brothers and sisters need you in our lives supporting us. People say, "It's too unpleasant, too scary to even think about." I'd like to address this. Let me suggest something to think about. So many wonderful organizations started from something you could say was just as unpleasant or scary or sad. Things that take our children and loved ones from this world, like cancer, child abuse, murder, accidents, and even suicide. Yet people flock to support those causes, and thank God they do. People say, well, that is because they are doing something to save lives. We forget that those grieving the death of a beloved child or brother or sister often confront the worst pain and despair this world has to offer. In fact, the psychiatric, easy for you to say, the DSM, Psychiatric Diagnostic Statistical Manual, stated the death of a child is considered a catastrophic stressor, unlike any other. And such grieving is a lifetime process. You don't go through grief, you go through a tunnel. You learn to live with grief. So where is a parent or sibling to go when the cancer treatment fails, the child dies from abuse, the laws don't stop the reckless driver from killing a child, and all of the therapy in the world isn't enough to stop the person from taking his own life? Parents and siblings are left wondering, now what? They need hope just as much as the person who is battling cancer. The difference is, from the outside, you really can't see a broken heart. So that is where griefHaven comes in. Today, we support thousands of parents and siblings throughout the world. I know about being hopeless. I also know about wanting to die. And I also know about embracing life again. I tell those who are grieving, if I can do this, so can you. I am not that special. They need to hear from those who are ahead of them on the grief journey. In other words, they need something fairly simple. Guidance from those who know. That is who we are and what we do. I pray that you will help us be many voices and many havens of hope as we continue walking the long and challenging road of rebuilding our lives without our children, brothers, and sisters. With each other and your support, the journey can be a bit softer. Then one day, those of us on that road can look back and see how far we've come reach behind us, take another newly grieving parent's sibling's hand, and say to them, walk with me. See those thousands of footsteps right there in front of you? Those are the thousands of others just like you who have gone on to build new lives that are joyful, that are meaningful, that are full of love and all the beauty and wonder that life has to offer. And they can do that because we cared enough today to help them, so that they then will become the hands that reach back to those who come tomorrow.